All right. What's that?
First question is just simply, what's your name and what you do?
I'm Michael Bolerjack, and I'm a tattoo artist in New Orleans, Kenner specifically.
Why tattooing?
Truthfully, it was quicker means to making money. Uh, I've been tattooing for 10 years, and I've been painting for probably 15 to 17 years. And I was going to UNO, the University of New Orleans. I had a full paid scholarship for painting, and I also was apprenticing underneath a really good artist. And uh, I had medical. I ended up getting sick, so that was one reason why I kind of quit school. But more so because I was gonna get paid a lot quicker doing a tattoo on someone than trying to sell a painting, and that's straight up. Even though I think I'm a better painter and a painter at heart, but I got kids, and that's just how it is. And I love tattooing, so don't ever think that I'm not loving tattooing every day. But it's definitely a quicker means to an end, because people are willing to pay $500, $600 for a permanent piece of skin than a painting, that they can hang in their house. It's just the truth of it. So that's why. That was really it. And whenever I was lucky because I got an apprenticeship underneath a really good artist, and he offered me the apprenticeship. I didn't have to struggle a lot of way people do and getting turned down and kicked out. I got my tattoo from him, and then I sent him people nonstop. And then the people I sent knew I drew, so they're like, "Hey man, can you draw up a tattoo?" And I draw it up for him. And after about 30 of those, he's just like, "Hey man, you want to learn how to tattoo?" And I just ran with it, and I'm still here now. So that's the origin of it all right there.
How many years you been tattooing?
About 10 years now.
Oh, you just told me how you got started tattooing. What was the first tattoo you did for someone?
It was UVC on this guy's knuckles, which is a neighborhood around here called University City. Um, which knuckles shouldn't be your first tattoo anyway, because there's just a lot of pitfalls that can come down with tattooing knuckles, especially first shot out. But it was in a controlled environment. I didn't do this out the house. I had been learning underneath the guy teaching me for quite some time before I even was allowed to hold a tattoo machine. So the possibility of failure was a lot less because it was supervised. It was actually he wasn't even there at the time though. Now that I remember, I had to call him up, and he was like, "All right, man, go ahead," because he knew I was going to make him some money. You also got to know that too. He's a really good artist, but he was also a very money driven person. So also, I think that's why I was given the opportunity is because he saw he can make a couple bucks too out of it because it's true.
What memorable response have you had for your work?
Oh, I mean, I've had mothers cry. I mean, like I've done memorial pieces of portraits of a particular person's son, and then that mother would come and tell me, that she saw it on her other son that I did it on, and cry. I've had great responses. I mean, I've had I've had across the board. I mean, I had a woman orgasm in the middle of a tattoo. So I mean, that's about as good as a response as you can get. Uh, Not because of the sight of it, but just because of the feel of it. So you really could go across the board of response. You got some people that cold out, can't take it, and they shiver the whole time. You got some people that enjoy it. You got some people that pass out. But for the work that's done, especially now, since I've been in it so long, I definitely have a consistent, wow factor, and I like that. I'm glad that I have that now. Um, but I've had more failures than successes. But I'm being hard on myself. But I have had more failure than successes in the sense of just art in general. you got to have a couple failures in there to really get to where you want to be. You know, you just don't start out swinging home runs. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but all that being said, I've never had nobody ever say I don't like this tattoo, even from jump. I've always had a good response, and then it's just kind of escalated to where I am today, where I'm getting very good responses, and people coming from not from all over the world by any means, but from different states, so that's cool. Like the reason why I'm got a little extra time is my boy from Atlanta, Josh. I'm talking to you. Yeah, he's late or whatnot. So you know what I'm saying, which is cool, But man, it would have been good to have him because he has a whole bunch of my work, and he's got them all over his face and things of that nature. So that's even kind of showing an evolution of where acceptance of tattoos are today because he's a barber as well, and uh, like your cousin Chris. And your cousin Chris is totally accepted by the community and stuff like that because and the tattoos really had nothing to do with it. Tattoos almost and just enhance something almost, like give people something more to look at, give them something to talk about type thing. It kind of I think that's a good thing about it is it's a constant conversation piece. You'll get mobbed with people that become overly touchy, just wanting to touch, just see. I don't know why they want to touch them, but they do. It's an instant conversation piece, and it's gotten to a point where other people can relate to other people's tattoos, and then they want that tattoo, or they want something very similar. It just struck home to them, or whatnot, or it'll spark an idea for an even bigger tattoo, or a very simplified tattoo of it. But the more people are seeing it, and the more they're like talking to people, and just and looking at the artwork, it's definitely a huge evolution has happened as far as acceptance of tattoos, I would say.
How have your practices changed over time?
Say that again.
How have your practices changed over time?
My practices, the best way that I could say it is, I'm lucky that I paint as well because I really tattooed right out of whenever I quit school. I really tattooed really, really, really hard for a long, long time. I ended up kind of even making myself more sick. But so after I kind of got a little more sick, then I kind of backed out and went back to painting. So since I went back to painting, they work off each other unbelievably well. So the better I get at painting, the better I get at tattooing, and the better tattooing I get, the better I get at painting. They totally work off each other. So as far as practices goes, I'd say that's the biggest way that my practices have changed. The more that I like, since I kind of didn't just push paint into the side like I did from the jump of tattooing, and I went back into it, and then now I still do not as much painting as I'd like, but I always am painting. If I have even a spare 30 minutes, I'm going to be painting on something. I'm never sitting still. So that's how my practice have changed, because I'll get to like a I don't know, like a epiphany in painting, like say of light source or tones, and then the next day I come in and tattoo a portrait of someone, and I'll be like, let me try this thing that I just learned in painting yesterday. Like I just figured out. I came to the realization, and then same thing with tattooing. I'll notice that I'll put a lot more darks in my stuff now to see, because since I've been around for like 10 years, I've seen healed tattoos from 10 years. Now I wasn't putting enough dark in it because you got to have this dark to really, really hold up over time. Well, I came to that realization in tattooing, and then I swiped it over into painting. So it's like those two work off me so well. So I think that my practices kind of will always change because of those.
What type of tattoos do you most enjoy doing?
Black and gray realism. Um, I think that's also where I get the most wow factor from people. I work it the quickest. It's the least messiest in the sense of color tattoos. You got to constantly clean the tube whenever you're trying to change colors, and if you're traveling, you got to carry all these colors. So I think that my biggest clientele is black and gray. Even though I do have a huge coloring following, but black and gray realism, if I could do that all day, I love it. Like portraits, I'd do a portrait every day and be happy, or two portraits every day and be happy. Until I got tired of doing them, and then I'd say I want to do all color now, But I've never am pigeonholed into one thing or the other. I get everything, and I still do the little ones. I don't pass up anything. Like you saw 2 seconds ago, I was trying to sell a tattoo right before the thing. Like if you got time, we're gonna do this right after this. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have said he wanted anything, and I'd have said, okay, well let's do it right now. You know what I'm saying? Because and that also helps to your namesake. Constantly getting people in or constantly taking people in, I should even say better, never trying to refuse, trying to always figure a way to squeeze someone in there. People really see that, and that just gets your name stronger, especially if you don't move from that area. Like if I don't move to Minnesota, then my name isn't anything out there, but here my name is something. So you know, always always trying to give them what they want as much as possible, not trying to sell them another idea as much as possible. But try to give them what they want as best as you can. That's where it's at for me.
What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
To who?
Well, best piece of advice somebody's given you.
In tattooing, it's tough. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think from the guy who taught me, but circumstantial things happened with him that he kind of fled the scene early in my apprenticeship. So I did get a very good foundation, very much so, but there was 1.5 million questions I didn't get answered before the inevitable departure of him. Um, Man, it's hard to say. I guess it isn't really necessarily the best advice. What's popping in my head is the best antidote because people always say this. You'll hear it 1 million times just throughout anybody. People always say, "Well, I can draw good. I can draw good." All you gotta know how to trace. All you gotta do is just, my friend can draw really good. He could tattoo good. You can draw good, but can you carve a piece of wood good? It's like completely two different things. It's a mechanical skill that is enhanced by your artistic abilities. You see what I'm saying? So I can't say that I got any advice that's ringing in my ear, which actually kind of makes me feel a little bit good in a sense because I've had a lot of help along the way, but uh, me and my boy Joe, who owns this shop, we came up as apprentices together, and we've, luckily have been together not the entire time because after the split of the one shop, I went to another one until he opened this one, and I came over here. But we observe more than I guess listening. Not that we don't listen to people, but nobody ever really whispers in your ear, "Hey, man, you should be using this size needle with this pigment." This It's more of an observing thing. So I guess more of my advices come from just visual watching people. I've been fortunate enough to get tattooed by people I respect and I love, and that's the thing. You sit there and you just watch them. You just watch. Now you might ask little things here and there, but their technique may be completely different from your technique. So it really is more about watching to me. Maybe that's just shut up and watch type thing. Maybe that's just how I do take advice, and I didn't really even think about it until now because there is no like huge, you know, sentence that pops to mind. You know,
What inspires you the most?
um, inspires. I mean, I like to create. I like to inspiration that I really draw from is trying to take an object, a picture, or something like that that is super realistic and try to execute it to the T. And that inspires me just to see if I can do that. And then if I do it or even come close, because I'm always going to fall short in my eyes, to see their reaction because you do a portrait of somebody, of their kid, of their grandmother who passed, they're adhered to you. They're yours forever. I promise you. I guess that's also inspirational too because once you tattoo somebody, and at least if you even do a decent enough job and you're a nice enough person, they're probably going to be yours forever as long as you don't overcharge them or you mishandle them in appointments and things of that nature. Um, so I guess that's kind of inspiring because, you know, to see all these people come to get tattooed by you. They'll wait or they'll just come walk in and be like, man, I just really want to get a tattoo by you today. You know, that's inspiring because you you got to keep working up to that. You got to keep making sure people want to come in and see you. So that's almost inspirational enough. Now, as far as like art goes, man, just seeing like some old uh, stained glass, like Catholic looking. That's like the epitome of like, man, that's amazing. So like stuff like that inspires me, and like especially painting, I always try to draw from that. That and money, not in the sense of because I want money. The actual. If you look at a dollar bill, I mean, that is amazing what they did to put that in there. Somebody chiseled that little stuff in. So little things like that. The details. I guess details inspire me a lot. Like so I knew how long that took to make that dollar. Well, I don't know exactly how long it took, but I knew that it wasn't a short time. I know that somebody painstakingly did that. Same thing with the stained glass. Somebody painstakingly did that. That inspires me. Like something that somebody put 1,000 hours into. Like man, you know, like what dedication. That's dedication is aspirational, I guess too. So I guess I take inspiration from a lot of things, but as far as tattooing goes, uh, the fact that people want me to mark them for life is inspirational enough, you know. Mm.
Maybe this one is easy.
Yeah.
Why do you do what you do?
Well, I do it for myself because I'm an artist. I'll always be an artist, so I have to do art. I just have to. I can't not do art. Like some people can't not go running or something like that or swimming. It's almost like people are drawn to the ocean, so I have to do it. I do what I do at the uh, quantity I do for my family for sure. If I was, able to paint most of the day and then do one tattoo a day, that would be ideal. But that's not reality. And one day I think it will be a reality, but not this day, not maybe for a minute. But so I do. But the fact that I do it at the quantity I do it at also sharpens the skills. So I wouldn't be, it's cliche, but I wouldn't be where I am, I guess, without, just having enough my family there that I need to push hard for and stuff like that. Because if you're just single or whatnot, maybe you don't need to push as hard or whatnot, but I have to. There's no two ways around it. I have to push hard, and I have to push even harder. I need to figure out how to tattoo with my left hand so I can do two at one time. That's how I feel, type thing. So I ain't gonna get there yet, but that is why I do it. I have to do it first of all because that's just in my blood. I've been drawing since preschool. I can remember bringing scribble scratches to show and tell and thinking that those scribble scratches were so nice that the other kids in preschool were going to try to steal it when I wasn't looking. And it was scribble scratches. Like they could have scribbled that too, but it's been in me since forever. I can remember getting yelled at for drawing on walls and everything. So then I figured out I was young and small, so I'd draw underneath tabletops, like so that my parents couldn't see it. I was underneath any cabinets, any counters, any tables. You go underneath it, they're all, and nobody ever knew. It's just I have to, you just have to do it. It's unexplainable. It's instinct almost, really. Whenever you kind of think about it, because I have to. I have to. This is the real answer. That's why I do it, is because I have to.
What can we look forward to from you in 2017?
Well, I'm gonna be real. I'm getting into buying my house, and I have to do some renovations. So you're gonna see me getting my family into the goal I've been setting for quite some time. I'm finally getting to the goal that so once that goal is reached, which will happen 2017, then I really think that's when I can really, really push paintings more, which is a huge goal of mine. But I have to be realistic with my goals. I think that you're going to see a lot more black and gray, large realism work from me. Uh, because I do have works of a lot of people wanting to get stuff like that. But I think 2018 is the year of really, really, really seeing a large output of Michael original paintings. Hopefully more so in gallery settings, but I'm gonna. It's almost like a career in its own right, trying to get yourself even noticed as a painter. So I haven't had time to do that. I don't have that extra time. So because I'm going towards my goal of getting everybody in this house that I need to get them into, because we outgrow everything. I have 2 kids and a wife, and that don't sound like a lot, but somehow we keep outgrowing everything we're in. So this one we won't outgrow, and once that is reached, that's my main goal. And because, like I said, that's why I do what I do at the volume I do it at. But after that goal has been reached, I think you're going to see a lot more paintings from me. And that's my hope, is to see a lot more paintings from me. Not that you'll see less tattoos from me, but I think I would even become more more sought after if I was able to do more paintings, because I think people would want to jump on that just for the sense that they wanted to get tattooed by the guy who did that painting. You see what I'm saying? Like, they really do work off each other immensely well. It really is great. Like, it was almost, destined for me to do both type things. But yeah, I think 2017 is a good solid year of hard work. But 2018 is the one where you're going to see all the output of that hard work. Now I'm able to kind of step back and really push what I kind of originally was trying to push from jump, was the painting thing. So never abandoning what you set out to do, but always evolving and rolling with the punches, and you know providing for who you need to provide for, doing what you have to do at that certain time. And I think I could even provide more too that way too, because you can't make $20,000 on one tattoo. I've seen $20,000 paintings go all the time. Not that I'm going to get to that point, but wouldn't it be nice? You know what I'm saying? And then I wouldn't have to do as many output as I was doing. I try to knock out as many as I can. I maybe wouldn't have to overextend myself like I constantly do, type thing. Mm-hmm.
We done.
Oh man, that was good. That was easy.
Definitely, man.
Appreciate it.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that painting and tattooing do go hand in hand?
Oh, without a doubt.
I noticed that most people I've talked to who are tattoo artists, they always have a knack for painting.
Yeah. I would most definitely say it. I really would. I would say usually 9 times out of 10, they're probably painting more like flash type things, like this, like more simpler things, which is completely cool. The painting that I try to do is like, it's very long. Like, it takes a long time. Like right now, literally, I'm working on a painting that's going to take me 120 hours. I'm probably 80 hours in it, type thing. I try to gold leaf it. I try to actually emulate stained glass in a lot of ways just through painting. So I think that the short answer to that question, yes, I do think that painting and that go hand in hand, but sometimes I think it's 2 different paintings. I think sometimes people are trying to paint a tattoo, like to paint flash or things of that nature, where in my personal artisticness, I'm trying to paint like, it has nothing to do with tattooing. Absolutely nothing. Because I tattoo all day. Like, I don't paint. I've never even drawn or painted a fleur-de-lis ever. I've been asked to do it a million times. I've tattooed so many fleur-de-lis. You're never going to see me paint a fleur-de-lis. You never. Because it's that way you're not burnt out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was painting tattoos, I would get burnt out of it. So because I don't think I would evolve either, because I'm still just kind of typecasting myself in one. And, I need to release it in a different way, and, so yes, they do go hand in hand. I usually find it's 2 different type of painting methods, though, that people usually go more hand in hand with tattooing,
Well, what can I look at some of your work at off? This is social handles and
You can find me at Nola Jack, NOLAJACK artwork, uh, on Instagram or on Facebook. Um, yeah, really, that's it. I put a lot more stuff on Instagram than there. Uh, I got a lot more paintings in the front of it, so scroll down farther. But yeah, it's easy to remember. My last name is Bolerjack. People destroy that last name, so I just dubbed it over to Nola Jack for that sense. And yeah, Nola Jack artwork. That's where I'm at.
What's your last name?
Bolerjack.
How am I spelling it?
Bolerjack. And then also, people can call me Jack my whole life too, because Jack's my last name. So yeah, that's how I know if somebody like knows me. They'll either call me Jack, like knows me. They're gonna call me Jack more than likely, because everybody either will say Bowler Jack or Jack. So half the time, people get real confused of why I go by Nola Jack and my name's Mike. But there's a simpler answer to it, because I couldn't do Bowler Jack artwork because people would they stall. They don't know how to, they don't know what to think of that last name. It seems it's weird, but yeah. So Nola Jack artwork. Yep.
I definitely be looking because we're going to be looking at getting our house this year, and I would check it out to see if you have some real nice artwork.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I got I have my supply store. It's right around the corner. So if ever you got free time, especially on a Thursday, but anytime, I got several paintings in there, and I got that big painting that I'm talking about that's taking me 100 hours. I got it there, so I work on it. I only work there Thursdays. Um, so Thursdays in between customers, if I get 30 minutes in, or sometimes I get 2 hours. Sometimes I'm blessed, and but yeah, yeah, a Nola Jack artwork. Uh, and I show on Magazine Street. It's actually right next to another tattoo shop. Hell or High Water on Magazine Street has a little art painting gallery next to it. It's a French name. It's called like Soup de Soleil or something like that. And I have I think a couple paintings in there. They may not be hung at the exact time because things switch around, but they're there and they can be pulled out and looked at or whatnot. But yeah, if you ever want to look at any in person, it's literally 3 minutes up the road right here, and we can check them out. But yeah, look at them. I really don't do like commissions and stuff like that because I basically work commission like this. So like I said, I try to have that be its own thing and be its own release, because it still is a release after all this time. The two things that make me the happiest is being with my kids and sitting there and painting. And then I'd say third is tattooing. Well, I got to throw my wife in there with the kids too, being with my family. And then painting, man, because it's always been good to me. It's always been good to me.